Hello, football fans. Well, it is the AFC South's turn to take the spotlight, and that's a very interesting division. It seems kind of like, I don't want to say boring, but it seems like close to unexciting. But you have to forget the fact that out of the four teams that have made the Super Bowl, two of them in this division. You have to forget the fact that chances are half the division will end up like top five in the draft. It's had its moments. It's had its amazing moments over the last like few years since 2020 at least. The AFC South does deliver, and they do have some interesting storylines entering the 2025 season, which is about 4 weeks away. We are less than a month away from the start of the regular season, and so let's preview the AFC South for 2025. I was really happy for Tennessee when they ended up winning the number one pick because it's different. I mean the Titans are kind of are bad, but you don't expect them to be first overall pick on the clock bad. But they nabbed it, and that was kind of a long jam to like bad 3-win teams that had a shot at it, but Tennessee ended up getting it mainly thanks to New England winning in that final week. But and they drafted Cam Ward, and of course this is their second year under Coach Brian Callahan, and I just think it's gonna be an interesting season for Tennessee. They got nowhere else to go but up. Okay, they're not going to do worse than 3-14. There's only three records worse than that. I can't see them winning 2-1 or even none. No, though I say if Cam works out, playoffs definitely not, but they'll probably double their win total. They should. I think 6 wins should probably do it, but it's a work in progress regarding the Titans. I still remember a couple of the good hits that the Jaguars delivered. For one, 2021, yes, they sucked, but they managed to ruin Indy's season in that final week. That was crazy. And of course, 22, they came back scratch and clawed and managed to win the AFC South. Even won a playoff game that year with that comeback against the Chargers. That was amazing. But and then 23 happened, and they had a good chance at the playoffs, maybe repeat as division champs, but it didn't work out in the end. And it got even worse last year. 4 wins, and I don't know. Well, They finally cleaned house. It took a disaster of a 2024 season for them to finally clean house. Doug Peterson's gone as head coach, and Trent Baalke's finally gone as general manager. So they're starting anew. They are starting anew, and we'll see how the Jaguars do. I hope they contend for something this year because Trevor Lawrence, he's a hell of a quarterback. They got a pretty strong team there. I think they could really make some noise in that AFC this year. I really do. The Indianapolis Colts. They've always been a fascinating bunch. Of course, I mentioned 21. They had the final 2 weeks. Each week they had a chance to just win it in, couldn't do it. And then 22 was worse. And 23 they had their chances, and last year they had their chances. They always seem to fizzle out when it counts. In December, when they need wins to get in, they just don't get them. Last season ended with them losing on the road to a Giants team who can't win at home. Now that's just humiliating. They have the pieces. Richardson's pretty good at quarterback, and they got this Jonathan Taylor guy who could just run through everything. He is just a dynamo. He's a dynamo. Anybody playing fantasy football would be happy to have him on their team. As a matter of fact, I won on fantasy with him as one of my running backs. Yeah. So as for this year, well, if nothing changes in Jacksonville, we're looking at the default second place team at least in the division. But playoffs, they can do it. They just need to I don't know, show up in December. I mean, you got to win those December games. You got to, because you don't win in December, you can forget about January. The Houston Texans. Well, congratulations, Texans. The division is pretty much going to be yours for the next like 5 years. It's amazing. they went from narrowly losing the number one pick in 22 to making the playoffs in the final week in 23, and it was a day later that turned into a division title when Jacksonville lost, and all under their rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud, and it was amazing. And of course, last year they repeated as champions of the South, but they won that division by default because nobody else was any good. And so yeah, the division is going to be the AFC South is basically Houston's for like the next 3 to 5 years, unless something changes with Indy, and they're going to take that AFC South champion tradition of kicking off Wild Card Weekend. It's true, like clockwork. Pretty much every year, whoever wins that AFC South, that Saturday in January, Wild Card Saturday, they're the first game in Houston. It's it's just like I said, just like clockwork. It's crazy, but yeah, I do expect the Texans to win the division again. But what will they do with it? They are the only team in this current NFL who has never been to the conference championship. The dead end is always the divisional round. It was a dead end for them last year, and I want to say this year might be different, that they'll actually get to the NFL's Final Four, but I don't know. I really don't know. But I do know they're going to win the division because no one else is going to. I can't. Tennessee, they're rebuilding. Jacksonville has a lot to do, and Indy's good, but not quite good enough to topple Houston. Houston's going to win that division again, but what will they do with it? Will we get a long run out of it this time? It would be really something. But I know this much: it is Texas. That's an amazing team. They got a good young quarterback in C.J. Stroud, and that defense is pretty solid at times. Like I said, it's going to be another good year for the Houston Texans. And so that's the AFC South. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be wild. It's going to be insane. And it's just going to be amazing as hell. So that is my preview of the AFC South for this upcoming 2025 season. If you like this video, click the like button. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe. If you want more, if you're on TikTok and Instagram, feel free to hit that follow button. And the link above, that's my story on Vocal. Check it out when you can. And the next time I talk the NFL, it'll be a preview on the AFC West. Ooh. So stay tuned for that.